You know who I bet isn't a very happy man right now? Sherrone Moore. I bet he's not very happy after the way his team played against Northwestern. And it's not the way his team played, because I have good news for you despite a nasty, ugly win against Northwestern. And here's the thing about this game. 65% of that game, I was thinking to myself, this is the best Michigan has looked all year. Did you get any of that? Like, did you see some of that, especially in the first half? Bryce Underwood is slinging it, pretty much only to Marsh, right? Freshman to freshman combo. The running game was working pretty good, right? But it didn't matter because we were slinging the rock. We were tossing the pill all over the field. And our defense was playing well. But then what happened, right? All right, there's a fumble on a reverse. Andrew Marsh gets hit the second he gets the ball, fumbled. Fumble on a punt return. By the way, that was garbage. All right? He clearly lands on the ball. He comes away from the pile with the ball. But the official decides that she thought she saw it better, and it didn't matter who came away with the ball, even though it was not clear at all, and they still get it. That was bogus call. And then there was the two interceptions. And they weren't good interceptions. The first one I can understand a little bit. I do. Like, that's a freshman making a freshman mistake. The second one, he got greedy. Should have handed the ball off. All right, in the RPO. And the safety didn't bite. The only read on that play is the safety. What's his name? Like Fitzpatrick or something like that. And he still threw it. So you have the missed field goals. The 60-yard field goal, that's hopeful. Man, that Zavada's got a leg. But the 36 or whatever yard field goal that he missed. So 65% of the game, I'm thrilled. 2 of 11 or something like that on third down for Northwestern. I think it was actually 3 of 11. And so for the most part, great. But those 3 first downs on third down were just devastating backbreakers. 5 turnovers, I think it was. But other than that, the majority of the game was good. And that is why, if I'm Chiron Moore, I am just absolutely so frustrated. When he is a head coach, all right, Chiron Moore is a head coach, and I want to do some compare and contrast here to people who have taken over after Harbaugh's tenure in the college ranks. The whole point of Jim Harbaugh football, what he brought to Michigan, is exactly what he had at Stanford. I'm going to compare to Stanford here. I'm not going to compare to the 49ers or the Chargers, even though it is very similar. But at Stanford, it was don't turn the ball over. Even when he had Andrew Luck, which is arguably one of the best quarterbacks of the last 30 years, right? Just the brain, the talent, right? They didn't throw the ball a ton. Partially because they didn't have a ton of weapons. But then David Shaw took over. And what David Shaw did was he ran the ball. They didn't commit turnovers. They didn't commit penalties. They played good special teams. And they won not because they were out-talenting everybody, but because they detailed everyone. They out-physicaled everyone. That's not happening with Michigan. We are out-talenting everyone, but we are not out-physicaling. There's not an extra amount of physicality. We're definitely not winning when it comes to mental errors, the amount of drops, the amount of fumbles, the amount of just bonehead plays, a holding on a touchdown. Then you miss a short field goal. Like, there are so many things where it's just like, no, this isn't what elite teams do. And this isn't what we saw from U of M under Harbaugh. And we are seeing it under Chiron Moore. We are seeing it. And it's not like it's a small sample size at this point. When Michigan got a big victory over Washington earlier this year, I came on this program and I talked about how this, to me, feels like a young team just learning how to win, and this was a milestone game for them where they were learning how to win. Since that, they've gotten worse every week. They come off the bye. They put the foot on the gas. They should be up 14-21-0, but instead they go into half at 7-6. Then they pull away again. They get up 21-6 or whatever it is, and then Northwestern comes back. Boom, 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 right? And it's just like, what are we doing? Because it's turnover after turnover. And look, part of this is still a freshman quarterback learning how to win. I get it. I do. I understand that. That's what part of it is. But there are mistakes everywhere. We had 5 turnovers. He had 2, right? Technically, he kind of had 3 because the handoff that he had to Kuzdal was just way too high. He pretty much handed it off to him at his face mask, and that was not good. But Underwood, you still see him making the plays that no quarterback we've had can, like the scramble stuff, the way he's able to get extra yards, the way he's able to scramble for it. So here's what I'm talking about when I look at this game and why I'm so unbelievably happy but yet so remarkably frustrated. We outgained him through the air, 280 yards. Bryce Underwood, 21 of 32 for 280. Fantastic. The problem is it's no touchdowns, 2 picks. Jordan Marshall, 19 carries for 142 yards and 2 touchdowns. Fantastic. It's exactly what you would hope. But unfortunately, he got hurt. Kuzdal, I thought, ran the ball hard and ran the ball pretty well, right? Andrew Marsh, is this dude an absolute star already as a freshman? Setting a freshman record for the most 100-yard games by a Michigan freshman. Setting the record for most receptions and yards in a game by a freshman. I believe all that's true, all right? Yep, there it is. Now we're seeing it, right? Receiving yards in a game against Northwestern, single game catching, and multiple 100-yard receiving games. All records for a freshman. All right? Not even upset about that. All right? Things are going well. But you lose 3 fumbles. You throw 2 interceptions. You hold them to an average of 2.3 yards rushing, and you hold them under 50% completion percentage. And you almost lose the game. I just want you to think about that for a second. You almost lose the game. But that just goes to show how good this Michigan team is. They are so talented that they can go on the road to a unique venue, which, by the way, was not a true road game. It was a neutral site game, if we're being honest. Just the amount of Michigan fans that were there. It was a really cool environment. It was so much fun to watch that game, all right, minus the 5 turnovers. But you go on the road. You did have to travel. It's a unique environment. They had so much more talent that they committed 5 turnovers and still won. They didn't force any. And I think that's the thing that I want to talk about in this game. Do you know how unlikely it is to commit or to lose the turnover battle by 2 turnovers or more and win? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. 3? Yeah, right. 4? It's over. If you have 5 turnovers and the other team doesn't have a turnover, it's like a 1% chance to win that game, right? You know, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask. In college football, right, what percent, I'm looking this up on the fly, so if you're still hanging with me, just hang in here. Chance do you have to win if you lose the turnover margin by 5? All right? Generating, searching, it's statistically unlikely. It is possibly as low as 1 to 5%. So now what we're seeing is that it is something that does not happen, but it happened for Michigan. And what that means is no matter how bad it's looked this year, we beat Maryland next week, and we beat Ohio State. This is a college football playoff team. It doesn't matter how it's looked. All that matters is that we get the next 2 W's. And this is a team that if we win out, it'd be very hard to keep us out of the college football playoff. At 10-2 in the Big Ten with a victory over Ohio State, who will likely be coming in undefeated number 1. I understand it's a tall task, but everything's still in front of us, even with a turnover loss, even with a 5-0 deficit in turnovers. All right, we're going to keep doing videos this week. Hope you enjoy them. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.